Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. I am Li Muyang. Today, let's talk about the shocking mess in mental hospitals in Hubei province, China. Imagine a normal grown-up suddenly gets labeled mentally ill. What does he lose? His job is gone. He cannot handle his own money or property. He loses the right to raise his children. He can even be forced to stay in the hospital. His freedom is taken away. He turns from a person into a prisoner. This is not a movie. This is really happening in Xiangyang, Hubei. Opening mental hospitals there is as easy as opening beef noodle shops. They just grab people and put them inside. The reporter who showed the world this problem is Han Futao. 2 years ago, he was the same reporter who exposed the oil tankers mixing industrial oil with edible oil all over China. These two stories show how the Chinese Communist Party rules the country without caring about people's lives or health. This is why Chinese people call themselves cows and horses. They feel like animals that just work and have no rights. In February 2026, a news report called "Reporter Goes Undercover in Mental Hospitals and Exposes Fake Insurance Scam" went viral all over the internet. The report was published by Xinjiang News. It showed the terrible things happening in mental hospitals in Xiangyang and Yichang, Hubei. Many mental hospitals in Xiangyang fight to get more patients. They put up signs that say "free stay." They even send workers to villages to bring in new patients. One patient's family member said, "There are more than 20 mental hospitals in one city of Xiangyang. It's like the beef noodle shops here. They are everywhere." The hospitals that promised free stay include Xiangyang Yangyiguang Mental Hospital, Xiangyang Shangzhou Aniatai Mental Hospital, Xiangyang Xiangya Mental Hospital, Nanchang Liyuan Mental Hospital, Xiangyang Jima Mental Hospital, Xiangyang Shima Mental Hospital, Xiangyang Hanjiang Chao Mental Hospital, Xiangyang Kangning Mental Hospital, and Xiangyang Angkang Mental Hospital. Reporter Han Futao from Xinjiang News pretended to be a nurse in December 2025. He worked undercover first at Hong'an Mental Hospital in Xiangyang and then at Yiling Kangning Mental Hospital in Yichang. In both hospitals, many patients looked completely normal. A lot of them were old people. Many patients had no clear mental problems at all. Even the nurses and security guards at the hospital could sign papers and become mental patients. In Xiangyang, many mental hospitals can take normal people and lock them up. Doctors help make up fake medical records that say the person is mentally ill. These hospitals want to make more money, so they try to bring in more patients. Once a patient is inside, the hospital wants to keep getting insurance money, so they stop the patient from leaving. Sometimes they even do fake discharge. They pretend the patient left, but actually keep him inside. Many patients get better, but are still forced to stay for years. Leaving becomes almost impossible. Besides bad food, patients must follow very strict rules. If they do not obey, the staff sometimes hit them. While undercover, the reporter saw nurses slap patients, kick them, and even beat them with water hoses many times. Right now, the government offices in both places have started special teams to investigate. They say they will look into everything and punish people who broke the law. This also proves the reporter's story is real and solid. If he had not gone undercover as a nurse, done all the hard nurse work, and secretly collected proof and papers, nobody would have known about this dark secret. The fact that this story could be shown in China without being taken down probably means the newspaper and reporter chose a smart angle: stealing government medical insurance money. In China, medical insurance money is not from private companies. It is government money. So the government got very angry, not because the people's rights were hurt, but because their own money was stolen. Actually, the report also showed an even scarier dark secret under Chinese Communist Party rule. Mental hospitals are supposed to be places that treat sick people. They should be watched very carefully, checking who can open a hospital, who the doctors are, and protecting patients' rights. But why can mental hospitals in Hubei open as easily as beef noodle shops? Why can they grab people like hiring workers? They openly send people to villages to bring in patients, and doctors even help make up fake records. Xiangyang is a medium-sized city, yet it has more than 20 mental hospitals. Is that normal? In America or Europe, a city of the same size usually has only a few mental hospitals. Each one must pass very strict checks by health departments, courts, and regular inspections. In China, these hospitals open everywhere like noodle shops because the government is not doing its job of watching them. On November 8, 2025, Chinese public interest person and independent investigator Mr. Wu Huaijun said that Su Xinru, a college girl in Chengdu, Sichuan, is an only child whose parents both died. The local community and police locked her in a mental hospital for 8 years already. People who left the decaying mental hospital said the hospital also keeps many people who are not mentally ill. Some have been locked up for more than 10 years. On June 13, 2025, lawyer Cheng Boyang posted on Weibo about a policeman named Song Bo Chung in Yichang, Hubei. Song questioned bad fire safety work in his neighborhood and argued with the builder. He also complained about local village officials in his hometown Zigi. Because of that, the police forced him into a mental hospital. In December 2025, a woman posted a video saying she got into an argument and was sent to a mental hospital by a Dalian rescue station. She was tied up violently for 3 days. She said she had only seen such stories online before and never thought it would happen to her. Where's the supervision? The Health Commission, the Medical Insurance Bureau, and the police should work together. When approving a hospital, check the money source and doctor's qualifications. When admitting a patient, need 2 doctors to agree and family permission. When discharging, need an independent check. But in real life, these departments do nothing or pretend not to see. Hospitals openly go to villages to get patients, make up fake records, and even beat patients, but nobody stops them. This is not just the hospital's fault. The whole supervision system has failed. Although the Xiangyang news report focused on stealing insurance money, overseas media said clearly, this is only the tip of the iceberg. The darker truth is that mental hospitals have become a tool for the Chinese Communist Party to hurt human rights. For many years, people who disagree with the government, people who try to complain to higher leaders, Falun Gong followers, and other normal people have been labeled mentally ill and locked up. The Spanish group Safeguard Defenders wrote a report called Forced Medication and Imprisonment, China's Psychiatric Prisons. It says the Communist Party locks up sensitive people in mental hospitals without any medical reason or proper court process. They force them to take drugs, give them electric shocks, and treat them in inhuman ways. Why does the loss of supervision make human rights abuses worse? Because these hospitals should be independent from politics, but in reality, they are controlled by the police and local governments. The police can send people to mental hospitals without going to court, just by saying the person is mentally abnormal. The fact that hospitals dare to take normal people and make up records is part of this secret agreement. The whole Xiangyang hospital system used to belong to the police and was only for mentally ill criminals, but after it spread to ordinary hospitals, it became a black prison for locking up people who disagree. According to Safeguard Defenders, from 2015 to 2025, at least thousands of people who disagreed with the government were forced into hospitals, and many suffered damage for the rest of their lives. When supervision disappears, this kind of abuse becomes normal. The Health Commission should watch that doctors make fair diagnoses, but it actually follows political orders. Local governments want to keep stability, so they allow hospitals to take people. In the end, mental hospitals changed from places to treat sick people into tools to control people. The mess in Xiangyang is only one small picture. Similar cases happen all over the country. For example, in 2024, a rights activist in Beijing was locked up for 3 years. After he got out, his mind was broken. This shows the Communist Party cannot govern well. They only use force to keep control instead of using fair laws. When they want to make money, the government works fast, but when it comes to human rights, supervision becomes empty. Investigator Han Futao is really a good reporter. On July 2, 2024, his report about oil tankers illegally carrying soybean oil shocked the whole country. The report said, on the morning of May 21st, a tanker truck slowly drove into a grain and oil company in Yanjiao, Hubei. 1 hour later, the truck left full of more than 30 tons of soybean oil. What few people knew was that 3 days earlier, the same truck had carried a load of coal to oil from Ningxia to Qinhuangdao, Hebei. After unloading, the tank was not cleaned at all. It was then filled directly with edible soybean oil and driven away. Coal to oil is a chemical liquid made from coal, such as liquid wax or white oil. Truck drivers told the reporter that mixing food liquids and chemical liquids in the same tankers and never cleaning them is an open secret in the tanker business. In May, the reporter followed and investigated for a long time. He found that many ordinary tanker trucks carry different liquids, sometimes sugar syrup or soybean oil, which people eat, sometimes coal to oil and other chemicals. To save money, many trucks do not clean the tank when changing loads. Some edible oil factories also do not check if the tank is clean, so the edible oil gets polluted by leftover chemicals. In fact, China has no strict national law for transporting edible oil, only a recommended rule called Code for Bulk Transport of Edible Vegetable Oil. It says edible oil should use special trucks, but because it is only recommended, factories can follow it or ignore it. When this news came out, it shocked all of China. People say food is the first need of the people. Taking care of food safety should be the top job of the Chinese Communist Party State Council. But after this tanker mixing edible oil problem was reported, it took a full 7 days until July 9th for the government to say the State Council pays high attention, set up meetings with many ministries, and promised to investigate thoroughly and punish severely. Only at the end of August did the joint investigation team say the problem was extremely bad, broke basic common sense, stepped on moral and legal lines, and was a typical crime that must be punished hard. But as early as 2013, the Hunan Xiangyang city government website had already published a notice to stop illegal transport of edible oil, especially using chemical tanks to carry edible oil or using edible oil tanks to carry chemicals. Internet users left many angry comments. You found the problem so long ago. Why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you check? Less than 2 weeks after the tanker story broke, people all over China started lining up at stores and supermarkets to buy locally made oil. On shopping websites, small home oil presses suddenly became very popular. People started making their own oil to feel safe. Japanese cooking oil, which some people used to hate, suddenly became popular. When Chinese tourists go to Japan, edible oil is now one of the most popular gifts to bring home. People even stopped worrying about nuclear radiation in Japanese food. Because people were so angry, the Communist Party announced that starting February 1st, 2025, a new strict national standard called Hygiene Requirements for Bulk Transport of Edible Vegetable Oil would be enforced. Before that, the rule only recommended using special trucks. It was not required. This is how a government that has been in power for 75 years treats the safety of the oil that every family eats every single day. This is not just one case. It is a system problem. It is a problem of the whole system. Why can mental hospitals spread everywhere? Why can normal people be locked up so easily? Why was the mixing of industrial oil and edible oil allowed for decades? In the end, it shows that the Chinese Communist Party, which says it won power with guns, is actually a group of thieves who stole the country. They use the power they hold to greedily take the people's money and resources. They do not care about real supervision. To them, ordinary people are just cows and horses. When they shout, the people work. Whether the people live or die means nothing to them. The Communist Party shouts, "Serve the people," very loudly. But the real way they rule the country is like the folks saying, "Step on a banana peel. Slide wherever it takes you." Friends, what do you think? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section. Remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.